All right, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be bringing you guys a Devil May Cry 5 review. With this review, we might go into slight spoilers, or like what do you think? Should we go full spoilers with this?
You know what? You guys have had like I'm gonna put this on in there right now. You guys have had 2 weeks to get this game and play it and enjoy it. Not only that, but there's spoilers. There's spoilers in the freaking last trailer that they put out. So automatically, if you watch that, you already knew where this was gonna go. So really, 2 weeks time, you should have already played it by now. You really have no excuse. Major spoilers ahead. Viewer discretion, if you were listening, is advised. Let's go for it.
Okay, okay. I mean, you beat the game in like 2 days, so I mean it shouldn't take anybody too long to beat it. It's a very short game. So for this review discussion, I got my friend here, and of course, I'll leave the link in the description for his channel. You're gonna have to remind me to do that again. But so let's
Uh,
go ahead and let's go ahead and get into this. So I guess we can just start with the story. Now, I'll go ahead and say, I'll go ahead and say this just as a disclaimer for my point of view of this game. My history, my resume with the Devil May Cry series, very spotty history. I played Devil May Cry 3. It was either 3 or 1. It was one of those games on the PS2. I can't remember which one, but I played one of them back in the day. I played it for like a few hours. I borrowed my cousin's copy of the game. Was completely blown away about like just everything in that freaking game. Like that was the standard of that basically set the standard for me in terms of what a hack and slash game is. And so after that, like the last Devil May Cry game I played, like Devil May Cry 4, I played that briefly. Again, I borrowed, like this time I borrowed a friend's copy of the game. So I played 4 just a little bit. I didn't really get to beat either title. Um, I think the only Devil May Cry game I actually beat was DMC Devil May Cry. The Ninja Theory one that not a lot of people like. I don't think that game was bad. I didn't like a lot of the artistic choices, a lot of the choices that they made, but the game was pretty solid. With this being my first entry into the series, I can say this as just from a newcomer perspective. For any of us just going into this series, for the first time, you won't be lost. It's not like Kingdom Hearts where like you have to play all of the games, to get the story. Um, I actually wasn't really lost at all. They do have a history of Devil May Cry thing that's packaged in the game. I can't read very fast, so that didn't really help me. It's not that I can't read; I just can't read fast. So like the text was kind of scrolling too fast for me. So I did look up a few. You can look up a few videos on YouTube about the history if you want, and I honestly suggest doing that rather than just going off of what they gave you in the game. But the story is pretty self-contained and it's pretty easy to follow. There's this new demon, and they gotta kill this new demon. That's all I can really say without really spoiling it. Even though we said no spoilers. I mean, you can go into that because I really want to get your opinion on the story, really, because since you know more about the story than I do, so you can kind of take it from here. Because I mean, I thought the story was really good for the little bit of knowledge, for the little bit of stuff that I know about Devil May Cry. I mean, I found myself very entertained by the story. Very good presentation, very good cutscenes. The graphics is really good. The characters, they have so much personality to them. Like there's no character that really feels the same. I love how Dante is so like he's older in this one, and you can tell they got this thing going on where like Dante is more. It seems like he's more of a mentor to Nero. I don't know how it was in the older games or whatever, but it seems like he's more of a mentor to him. And like Nero just wants to prove himself. Like that's the kind of vibe that I was kind of getting. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed the story. There is like it's very anime-ish. Like when you get to the later part of the game and they reveal what happened with the the main demon, Urizen and stuff. It's very anime. It's very anime-ish. It's very like it doesn't like, take itself too seriously, and that's what I kind of enjoy about it. So I'm a go ahead and hand it off to you because you're the expert when it comes to the story portion of it. But overall, I enjoyed the story.
Okay, then. I thoroughly enjoyed it myself. Given how this is, I've played all the Devil May Cry's at this point. My first one was four, so I was introduced to Nero like before Dante. And then it's just like, okay, you got to play through four, and then like get to halfway point, then it switches over to Dante. So I kind of have like more of a bond with Nero because that's who I played first before I went back and played the older games. So there's like kind of like, okay, what did they do to my man there? They gave him a robotic arm, and he's more of like he's got more of a groove this time around, which he did in the fourth game. My point is being like, okay, they really like figured out what the hell they're doing with him now, with the whole proving himself thing to Dante, and especially like he's carrying around the Devil May Cry name on Nico's RV now, so he's taking the business on the road. So of course he kind of has to prove himself that he can be trusted with the business now. But yeah, given the history with this and like coming from four to this one, actually going through all of them, being like, because all of them are all over the damn place. Like if I'm being honest, like three is the first one, um, the second game is the first game, the third game is the second game, which everyone hates, which everyone is just like, just ignore it. Just
I thought
they even
everybody
try to
hates.
strict.
I thought everybody hates the second one.
Hmm?
No, I thought
Yeah,
everyone
that's
hates
the
the
second
second
one
one.
I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I thought you meant the
the
third
second
one.
game.
My
No, the
bad.
second. No, everyone loves the third one. Everyone loves the third one. That's like I think this is taking everyone's first place. Like this third game is now like the second place on everyone's radar. But yeah, the second one, don't even worry about it. I think even like Capcom themselves are like trying to like strict this from canon because there's like that's how bad it is. That's how bad like they screwed up. But then again, Itsuno, the creator of Devil May Cry, did barely had anything to do with two. So they're like,
Yeah, I heard that they rushed that out and that they dumbed a lot of stuff down.
and like I told you before, like you can beat Devil May Cry 2 with just using your guns. Like that's how bad it is. You you don't even have to swing the rebellion at all. Like you can literally go through that game just guns. Kill boss with the guns. Not even joke. Not even no joke. Not even a joke. But yeah. Third game is the second game. The fourth game is obviously the bridge between this one. So yeah, this is like years after four, and like I really have nothing bad to say about this game. Like you said, big ass demon Urizen is the new big bad. Dante gets word of it from the new guy V, which looks like a fucking Adam Driver ripoff. I was
Everyone,
just
can we
like,
talk about that for a second? Not to get
let me
out.
get
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Say what you
let me
want
do
to
it.
say, man.
Let me do it. Let me get in this. Let me get in this. I fucking hated V when he was when that when his ass was announced to be the third character that we were gonna get. I'm like, y'all haven't even figured out how to do like y'all didn't even figure out how to do like Nero and Dante correctly because it was like half the game in four before we got to Dante, and then it's like we're basically repeating the entire game, and then we finally get this game finally comes out, we finally get to V, and it's like, what have y'all done? I love him. I love how dorky he is. I love how like basically his entire like speech is nothing but poetry and literature. Like after you figure out who he actually is, it's like y'all um I'm not gonna give it away just yet. Not gonna give it away just yet, but I don't know, man. Like I absolutely love V's inclusion to this because he feels right at home with these gaggle of misfit characters, which, like you said, everyone's brimming with personality in this, and he fits right in there. Like, not a bad thing to say about him once I finally played as him, and actually saw him in action, and I'm just like, y'all really went full balls to the wall with this. Like one of his taunts is actually like him playing. It's
What?
like him doing. It's like literally him dancing to Dancing in the Rain with the song playing in the background. I'm just like,
What?
this is so damn dorky. I love it. I love how fucking stupid this
See, at,
is.
at
It's
first
the
I
good
thought
kind of
at first I
stupid.
thought you was gonna bring up him reading the book. Like, there's a mechanic where you can
I
actually read the book, and then it'll like increase your double trigger gauge.
was gonna mention even that, you just gotta make sure you don't get hit. But yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead and tell and give your experience with V because I could go on about
Well,
this.
before I do that, just like what else do you think about just the story, just the story portion? Because I almost kind of brought us into talking about into talking about the characters, and we can do that next. Just talking about
Okay,
just kind of going into the characters.
absolutely love the direction that the story took in this. Like they even said themselves, like this is the final. This is like Dante's last ride. This is like the last of the Sons of Sparta saga. So whatever they do with him now is like up in the air. But if this is the last like Devil May Cry in this canon, the only canon that fucking matters, I'm looking at you, DMC. Then I really would have no like qualms about it. But I'm not gonna lie, I wanted freaking Devil May Cry 6 after this game. Like that's how good the story was and where it ended and just the ride through it, even if it was short. Like everyone has an issue with how short it was. It was
Yeah,
I
we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
loved it. I loved it. But go ahead.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the characters since we were kind of about to really get into the characters there. I was gonna talk about V. I was gonna talk about the characters in the order that we got to use them, but let's go ahead and talk about Kylo Ren since we were. I mean, oh my God, see. I didn't even mean to say that. Let's talk about V, but yeah, I was about to mention the fact that everyone keeps everyone keeps comparing him to Adam Driver, who, if you guys, I mean, obviously, if you're a Star Wars fan, that's Kylo Ren. And honestly, when I first saw him, yeah, I definitely see like
Yeah.
if the actor was like, oh my God, they stole my likeness, I'm gonna sue you. I'm like, this man would have a case. It's just like the Ellie from The Last of Us and Ellen Page thing. Is like, did y'all really? Did you like y'all? Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it's
Did
like
y'all
she
like
she
really
would have
like
a
stop and think?
case. She would have a case. Just like in this case, like Adam Driver, he would have a case. Like if he were to say, "Hey, that's my likeness," he would have a case on his hands. But
Let's
I
just hope
like V. I like V though. Now what were you
let's
gonna
just
say?
hope that neither of those two are like Lindsay Lohan, who tries to like get in everybody's like fucking like case about you stole my likeness, rock star. I'm gonna sue. Let's hope they're not, that he's cool about it and shit, because like that's the first thing everyone like went to when he first showed up. But continue.
But yeah, I like V. I like. See, I was thinking that the panther that he has was going to be talking. I like the bird, the smart Alec bird. He's just making smart, making like these sly remarks on the side and stuff. And he's a great contrast to V's personality, and just how serious V is and how he's reading poetry and all this crap. Like he's such a he's so different in comparison to Nero and Dante. Like Nero and Dante, there's there's some differences between them, but they're both like they both crack jokes. They're both very playful, and even Dante's even more playful than Nero from what I've seen. So I like how different V is. I like how different his his gameplay is in comparison to those other two characters. Nero and Dante, I enjoyed every bit of the different cutscenes and stuff that the things that they were doing, like the stuff where like Nico is driving the truck and then Nero has to jump out the way, especially that intro, the intro to the game where he jumps out. Like that intro was just like so good. The characters just overall, I enjoyed all the characters. I will say this though, Trish and Lady, like I guess they were just there just to be there. Really, I mean, they did have a part in the story, but they weren't like really key characters.
Uh, mm, yeah, those two. Okay, let me just get this out the way. Like they were just there just for the sake of like, yeah, they're there. They got their ass kicked. They're there, and honestly, like only reason I think like Trish was there at all is just to give like Sparta back to Dante. Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers, but yeah, basically like if you've seen the freaking trailer, you have already known that Rebellion gets destroyed, Dante gets his ass kicked. After that, fucking Trish throws the sword, the Sparta sword, which was his dad's sword, back to him, and he pretty much has that for the rest of the game. I'll get in more than that later, but that's basically what she was here to do. Basically to give him his shit back.
Yeah, Nero loses an arm, obviously. I mean,
Oh,
which I guess we can talk about. Well then again, I, did I let you go? Talk about the characters. Talk about the other
oh
characters. I don't think I
yeah.
did.
Let me get
Yeah,
into that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Um, yeah. They okay. We already talked about enough. I already gushed enough about V. I love how much of a stark contrast he is to both Dante and Nero. Pretty much mirroring what you just said. As far as Nero goes, they really like I said before, like they've really perfected what what they were going for before. They pretty much like improved his character from four. Really, like all I can say, he wants to prove himself. He pretty much is like honestly, I just think like he just does his own thing. He protects people and shit. Like he wants and he looks out for his friends and shit. Like I don't know if you know this, but dude like hates smoking, yet he keeps lighting up Nico's cigarette every time she needs one. And but he hates it. The other thing, when it opens up and how we figure out how he loses his arm, he he asks the guy, "You want some dinner, man? You hungry? You hungry? There's a spot at the table. There's a spot at the table." No one does that. That's how like I I I don't know, generous. I don't know like what the proper word is. Like I don't know. I just love what they did to his character for this. Like it's just way more improved than it was in four.
Yeah, because it
As
seemed
far as
like in
done,
four when well, I'm sorry to like to interrupt you, but like it seemed like in four, from what I saw, it seemed like one of the problems, just like what I had with it, was the fact that Nero seemed like just another version of Dante. That's why I like the change to his character model, his character design. They have it a bit more like how Dante was in DMC, and to be honest, like the stuff that you're talking about, the little differences in their personality, like this character is just way better than what they did originally for the character in Devil May Cry 4. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you though.
but like once he figures out he has family, and at the end of the game, like he okay, fucking spoilers. I'm gonna just outright say it right now because I've already warned you all. I warned you all. Once he figures out that Virgil is his father and Dante is his uncle, like he steps in between the two to break them up to stop fighting. He openly just like kicks Virgil's ass after Dante's already done the damage and just says, "No, y'all my only family at this point. Despite how stupid this shit is, no, no." He even tries to stop them from going back into the demon world to stop the plant, to stop the plant. And Dante openly says, like, we're trusting this with you now. Keep your ass here. Stay here. I don't know. Like I said, like his character is a much more improved version of where it was in 4. Like when he found out he had family, like I was like, yeah. And as far as Dante goes, he's pretty much the same Dante that we've known from all the other games up to this point. Except 2, excluding 2. Um, he's just older. He's older. He's way more fucking lazy than he ever has been because how this job even came to be, his lights are off. The Devil May Cry shop's lights are off. The toilets are backed up and shit. This man will literally be in the dark rather than get any kind of normal income. He'll stay in the dark. No appliances running, just like, no. No, the job has to come to me. But he can't get no job. This man has never heard of a cell phone apparently, because that's like the phone is really the only way he can like get business. But it's off. Apparently, he's never heard of a cell phone. But he still cracks jokes and shit. He still is Dante. He still doesn't give a shit about like any enemy. Like tries to roast him and everything. He's just like, oh, that's neat. I'm killing kick your ass though, but that's neat. Just it's basically an older Dante. And we even see this man get humanized a bit more, because he gets his ass kicked. He gets his ass kicked, which is something that doesn't usually happen with these kind of games. Like dude's like OP, 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 OP. The only other game that he's actually gotten his ass kicked is 3. Everywhere else, especially 4, like he's a fucking monster in 4. Like there isn't a moment in that game where he's weak at all. This time he has to actually resort to actually like absorbing his dad's sword, absorbing the rest of the rebellion to get like the super devil trigger and shit, which is like, what? This doesn't usually happen. But overall, I like what they did with all 3 of these characters. I love Nico all the way through, especially like someone actually give Nero shit all the time. Like
Now,
the banner between those two was just excellent. Um, every even Morrison got more fleshed out here than he ever did in the series. And yeah, Morrison is from the anime, but he's white in the anime, and they made him black in this in 5. I don't know, man. Figure that out. Like
they
he even
blackwashed him.
feels a little bit more, huh?
After they blackwashed him.
Basically, dude is out like outlandishly white in the anime. Like
I
I'm
was
not even joking about that.
I was gonna ask you this about Nico. Did you feel like her voice acting, and I guess we can kind of get into voice acting next. Do you feel like her voice acting was bad? Do you think she had a bad accent or what? Like that's one complaint that I've been hearing from certain people out here on YouTube, and I think some other outlets said that too about her like accent and everything. I mean, she wasn't like I'll say that she like I'm surprised I actually didn't like I wasn't annoyed by her character. Like as soon as I saw her character in the reveal trailer and everything, I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna hate her character. I'm not gonna really like her character. Her character isn't that annoying. It surprised me that she wasn't annoying. I like how she's always almost getting into like running. She's almost about to run everybody over. Like I like all the sequences with Nico, but I wanted to like just know if like what you thought about her the voice acting.
Wasn't that bad. I could hear it dipping in and out though, but it wasn't like so annoying to the point where it's like I couldn't stand listening to her voice. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay, okay. And what did you think about like the rest of the voice acting? I honestly thought Johnny Young, what's his name? Johnny Young Bosch, the guy that did Ichigo. I can hear that Ichigo voice in Nero. I said, okay, like I like the voice. I don't know if he did Nero last time because I can't
He
really
did.
remember.
He did.
Oh, okay, he did. Yeah, like I
That's
like
what
the
he,
voice acting though. Like overall, for like all of the voice actors. Like I didn't really think there was any like bad voice acting in this. That was pretty good. Yeah.
um yeah, there's no really complaints there. I was like, again, like of course he was yeah, John Young Bosch did Nero in the fourth game. Yeah, so he's been like Devil Hunter Ichigo for 2 games now. And even the trailer where everyone was like calling Nero Dante, and I was like, that's Nero, you fools.
Yeah,
Can you not hear the
I'm not gonna
voice?
lie. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I told you, man. I was like, oh my god, it's Dante.
I'm like, the second he spoke, I'm like,
I
that's
mean,
Nero.
like I said, of course,
That's,
I didn't know any better, but I was like, and like
you,
you
you
couldn't really blame people back then because it's like they changed his character design. We didn't see Dante until like the end of the trailer. So like if they
panned
never
out of
like if they
the
like think about it if they never showed that last part of the trailer with Dante on the motorcycle, everybody would have thought like if you haven't played the fourth game, then you would have thought that I was Dante. So I can kind of see why people were confused, including myself.
camera like panned back the second Dante came in. Fucking Xbox press conference. I'm still actually looking up like reactions to that now, and I'm just like, why did they pan back? Why did they pan back? Anyway, anyway, I just yeah, there's really no complaints about the voice acting, like at all, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, what's next?
And then of course we know the music, man. I don't even think we really have to talk about this that long.
Oh
The
no,
musical soundtrack in this game is pretty good. It's really good, especially the main theme. I don't really think we have to say too much about that.
honestly, like I know you got the standard edition, but that the pushing for the deluxe edition with all the other like songs to it, it's like, yeah, I kind of want this soundtrack now. I kind of want this soundtrack. But I will say this: the final boss fight theme. It's kind of like, you dubstepped it. You kind of dubstepped it a little bit too much. Like Devil Trigger was perfect, and then this variation of it had to come in, and it's like, why? Why? I didn't notice it the first time because the first fight was like hype as shit when I first played it, and then when I went back and played it, I'm like, no, that's no
Yeah,
bueno. Why
it's
did you
kind of
do
weird.
this? Why did you do it like this?
Like
It was perfect.
like that song, and then Nico's theme is kind of I would say is very different from what we're used to. I like Nico's theme though. I think a lot of people enjoy Nico's theme because this is very different because you know we're so used to like the rock and stuff. So, but that
And
Devil Trigger theme is just is freaking fantastic.
it's iconic at this point because that was where we were introduced to when the first trailer dropped, and then it's like everyone was like trying to find out when's it gonna be fully released, you bastards. And then we got Subhuman. Let me just put this in here right now.
That's Dante's theme, right?
Um I what the hell was V's theme again? Like it was Crimson something. Like I don't have too much to say about that because it's like to me it just sounded like noise somewhat in the background. Like I haven't fully listened to it, but Subhuman and the controversy surrounding that song when it first released and everything, I did not like it. I'm gonna flat out say it until I got the game, and then I'm like, I hear what you did different. I like it now. I like it now.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. That's all I'll say about it. I didn't hate it. I would just rather have Devil Trigger play the whole entire time for all the characters.
Yeah. or like the Virgil theme from 3, or fourth the fourth game um fighting theme. But yeah, whatever. This soundtrack is enjoyable. The sounds are enjoyable.
All right, so moving on to the gameplay, just talking about the overall gameplay. For me, I thought the gameplay in this game is still the best. It's still it's still up to the standard that Devil May Cry games, in the past and everything. I say that this is probably a more streamlined version, and this is just coming from somebody that has limited experience with the series. But it seemed like they streamlined it a lot more. It seemed like from what, and it could be the nostalgia goggles, it could be just me looking very fondly about the, in the past. Because like I said, I haven't played the older games in a while, so it seemed like they streamlined it. Like I said, gameplay really like the combat's really quick, really fast. Um, there is a complaint that I've heard a lot of people say about how um the 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 pacing of like the first like once you finish that first playthrough, the pacing does kind of get a little broken up. I mean, I would say the story, overall it's paced very well, but when you're switching between these three different characters, like you gotta wait until like mission 10 or 11 to get to Dante, and it's like you'll finally get a handle on one character, and then suddenly you're switching to another one. So like in your first playthrough, I can understand if that's kind of annoying, but this game is built. They really built this game so that like you're encouraged to actually go back and replay these levels and go back and play the try to find the secret missions and try to do better than what you did last time, and then play on a harder difficulty. Like it's designed to be played over and over again. It's designed for replayability, and that's what I like about it. I like the fact that the scope of this game is it's very limited in its scope. It's not trying to be this really really big game. Like I said before, you can beat this game in about 2 days,
Kingdom
but
Hearts.
you can beat this game in about 2 days, and it shouldn't take you that long. In terms of just getting down to the core gameplay, is very very fast paced, like what we're used to in all the Devil May Cry games. Very fast paced. You get the switch between your weapons and stuff with the different characters. Nero's gameplay, I think out of all of them, I think I like Nero's the most, surprisingly. The Devil Breakers. The only thing I don't like about the Devil Breakers is just the fact that you can't switch between them. Like you actually have to either break them or let them break or whatever in order to switch to the next one. But
Hate that. I hate that.
it does, like they do bring a lot of different, they they bring something different to the table depending on what your loadout is, and I like the whole the grappling hook thing. I like being able to like I'm far away from an enemy, and I can just like pull them in and then hit them away from me, and then like the combo potential is there. Um, with V, I would say V is the most spam-tastic character in the game. He does have like there is a nuance to him. You can't just like you have to be aware of your positioning with V, but V is probably the easiest character to play as, to be honest. He's the easiest character to get an S rank going for a lot of missions. Dante is the most complex because I think like V would be the easiest. Like Nero is kind of like middle of the road, and then Dante is probably going to be the hardest for a lot of people. For a lot of people to grasp. I know it took me a minute to get into Dante. Like once they first give it, like when they first give you Dante, and like they're introducing you to all these different all these different styles, the royal guard, the trickster, all of that. It could be very overwhelming when you first get to play as him. It took me a minute to kind of like get a hold of all of his different things that he kind of brings to the table, his move set and everything. He has so many different weapons you can switch between two, and they all feel great to use. They all bring something to the table in terms of doing combos and crowd control. You can get a rocket launcher, and there's even like secret weapons to get and stuff. I don't even think I have all of them or whatever. Like I think just the combat overall is really good. You can go now. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I think.
Okay. Basically, V is really the most easiest to control. Basically, to do, you can have both. He basically have his guns and his sword out. Basically, like Griffin is the guns, and Shadow, the tiger or cougar or whatever the fuck, is
It's a
is
panther.
the panther is the sword basically, and you can basically spam the shit out of those two for like a full like 5 minutes. And it's like you can even do that nightmare cheese where it's like, okay, devil trigger, boom, nightmare just completely like cheeses everything on the screen.
I didn't
So yeah,
realize. Not to cut you off. I didn't realize that once you like, how you can like ride him and stuff. I didn't know that you can. I didn't
yeah,
know you had to
yeah,
actually
yeah.
press the circle button to make him attack. I thought he just attacks on his own. I was like, why is
You
this man not attacking?
and the fact that you actually had to pay for that to ride on Nightmare's back is like kind of pissed, but it's like whatever. Nero, the one you're actually gonna have to, the one you're introduced to in the start of the game. He again, I'm gonna keep saying this. Is probably gonna be my full thing with him. He feels like an improvement from 4. Um, Basically, the robotic arm is basically the new devil, um, the demon arm that he had in 4. Basically, you can still like pull enemies toward you. You can you can use the arms, the Nico arms, to to kill enemies if you hold down a circle button or the B button, and basically just like that's really the super move. You can even just tap it in order to do a move, but it won't like destroy it. If you tap it, it won't destroy it. If you fully charge that thing, then it will be destroyed if the attack goes all the way through. Or if you get hit while in the middle of charging, it'll get destroyed. So yeah, Nero's not lying when he says like Nico's tools are very, very, very fucking flimsy. You get hit while that thing's charging, and yeah, it's basically gone,
or
which
just if you like
sucks.
basically like if you just using it, not just if you're like charging it, if you're just using it, period. If they hit you while you're using it,
Yeah,
it'll break.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's
pretty much
happened to
that.
me so many
Which
times.
kind of does suck, but
So
yeah.
like how many
And
how many
Dante,
times, just not to cut you off, but like how many times have you like had to go without an arm? Because I think it was that mission where like there was like the escalators and stuff. I kept losing on my arms in that mission.
oh, yeah, man, without a doubt, like I too many times for me to count. Like even now, I'm still like, I didn't see that dude behind me. I fucking lost my arm.
Like I'm very cautious now. Like, I'm very cautious when I use it now.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the arms are very, very flimsy. So, but Dante, on the other hand, he's the big boy of the three. If that for obvious fucking reasons, the dude has trickster, sword wielder, guns, and royal guard. I think gunsmith was the point is he
It's
has four
it's
styles, which
gun
is
it's gunslinger. I didn't. I'm sorry.
gunslinger.
I don't know why gunslinger is a like. What is gunslinger? That was the only one that I really couldn't. I really couldn't find a use for that.
Honestly, I feel like it's been like slightly dumbed down a bit. I think it was way more OP in 4 and especially 3, but I don't know. I don't think they did too much with it. Like to do that gun thing, that gun spinning all the way to the ground with ebony and ivory, like that still is a thing with gun slinger equipped, but that's really it. Everything else is just like okay, I can just charge everything just normally and just hit square and it'll work. But yeah, I, Dante, if you have not played a Devil May Cry game and you get to Dante, you will definitely get put off by it because like you learn V, you learn Nero shit, and then it's like Dante has like 4 styles you can use. And basically, you're just really gonna be using like sword wielder like the whole time. Like really, like let's be honest here. You get this. He has like a bunch of weapons that he gets, which is not even like that he gets throughout like his portion of the game, which is really normal because this happens like every other Devil May Cry. And a little side note that I told you before, like the reason why he doesn't have like a full like arsenal on him in this at the start of this, and he only has like the what the hell was those called again? Like the gauntlets. He doesn't have the Gilgamesh gauntlets anymore. The Nux and the boots. Those. What
Yeah,
are those
yeah.
called again?
You asking the wrong person. I don't. I just call like I forgot, man. I forgot what they called,
See,
man.
you see, it's too
They
much
just
to
they
remember.
just
Okay,
the gauntlets and the boots to me, man.
okay, gauntlets and boots, and the rebellion. The rebellion for like both his like swords, and he has ebony and ivory and the shotgun at the start. By the end of this game, he'll have that bike. He'll have the bike. He'll even have those the Cerberus um
Yeah, the
nunchucks that
nunchucks that turn
transform
into a scythe, to a not a scythe, a staff.
staff. It's a flaming staff. You can charge that thing, and electricity will come out of it. He'll get another freaking RPG if you didn't pick up the secret one from earlier when you played as him. It's like you'll be dual wielding RPGs, and even the Dr. Faust hat, which I found very little to do with. It's like, okay, I feel like this only
Yeah, I was like,
existed for that
why
Michael
is
Jackson
that?
piece.
Yeah, I was like, why is that in the game? The gauntlets are called the Balrog. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
But okay, the Balrog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, DMC extremists. Forgive me. I have played this shit. I just can't remember everything right now.
And
But
the nunchucks that transform into a staff, they're called the King Cerberus.
I had that right. I had that right. I said Cerberus. Um, yeah, basically this man is still gonna have like a whole walking arsenal, but again, like what was it I was saying before? Like the reason he doesn't have a full arsenal on him at the beginning of the game, like he really should, he'll sell the weapons that he got from previous games just to pay the rent, which he clearly doesn't do often. He clearly doesn't do often because the lights are fucking off when we get to the start of the when he get to his portion of the game. So what the fuck is going on? But yeah, this man will be a freaking tank by the end of the game, and especially like you add on Super Devil Trigger, added on to his already like his Devil Trigger, his normal Devil Trigger already. It's like powerhouse. But the thing I like about like Super Devil Trigger, I know it's called Sin Devil Trigger, but that's just stupid to me. I'm calling it Super Devil Trigger. Um, you charge that thing, it isn't it. You pretty much are just OP for the like short length of time you have it, and it doesn't overstay its welcome to the point where it's like I can just nerf everything on this bitch for the next 5 minutes. It's not even around for like for like
Yeah, it's very.
20
Yeah, I
seconds.
noticed it's like very brief. I was like, what was the point of this thing? I'm still not good with Sin Devil Trigger. I'm not really good with that yet.
Yeah, so it's like it's just here for like a good like I want to say like 10 seconds because it's like it really just doesn't even overstay its welcome. So I like the fact that it doesn't, but I also hate the fact that it doesn't. It's like in between. It's really in between for me. But yeah, yeah, it's like Dante really is the OP guy in this
Like
amongst the trio, which
like
makes sense.
like he's basically the Swift. He's the Swiss Army knife of the game, basically.
Yeah, and it's like, and if they're gonna continue with Nero, for God's sake, let him pick up more weapons. He needs to continue this shit because all he has is the arms, and um his sword and gun. That's it. That's it. Dante, on the other hand, is like stealing everybody's shit. Like always, he's like picking up everybody else's shit and taking it for himself. Oh my god! But yeah, yeah, I have nothing bad to say about either one of these characters. V is absolutely the most surprising out of the three, which I mentioned earlier. I just flat out thought I was just gonna hate him outright, but actually playing him, it's like he is probably the best fresh of air between these two, because these guys are really just like, I'm gonna kill you with my sword and I'm gonna shoot you with my guns. This guy will just literally stand over there reading his book, powering up his devil trigger, and Griffin and Shadow will just do all the work. So it's basically like having like a gang, and you just stick your boys on people, basically.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed like out of all three of them, man. Like I would say that V, like I said, V's the most accessible. He's also like you would think that he's like just kind of like no fun to play. You would think that they'll just get kind of stale because a lot of people. I assure you, a lot of people probably just mash the square button or mash the triangle. Just sit there, just mash buttons with it. But it really is a thing of basically you having to be aware of your positioning because those enemies because that's one thing that I like that they did with him is that okay, in order to kill these enemies with V, you have to stab them like he has to deliver the final blow, otherwise they're gonna regenerate. And I do like the fact also that they made Shadow and what's the other one? Well, they made just Shadow and Griffin. I think it was the other one. They made them very vulnerable. Like they're not like they're very easy for these enemies to really take them down. So you got to be mindful of not only V's positioning, but also the positioning of your two the two animal familiars, basically. But yeah, like overall, I thought I really enjoyed the combat in this. I think there's so much depth in there, and I'm like I've been missing this sort of game. And in terms of replayability, like I said, I think the replayability is there. Um, do you think that the game was too short? Because I that's one complaint that a lot of people have with games nowadays is that this game is too short. This isn't worth the $60. Do you think this game is worth the $60 for somebody that might not want to like replay the game or just might want to get the most out of the game? Like, what do you think?
As someone who is currently going back and actually trying to get better at this, if you're not that type of person, you're gonna automatically just like say like this is not worth the $60 price tag, and it is too short. But to those who actually will stick with a game and actually try to get better, and especially with an action game like this, where your whole thing is like dealing combos and changing up your moves and shit as you're doing it, you're gonna get the most out of this with that $60. I'm so split in the middle of saying like it is worth it and it's not. I'm so split, but at the same time, I'm going back at it a third time. I'm going back through this yet again, a third time. So it's like, I get what people are saying, but I also get like, you're kind of not one of those people who actually go back and play it. It's hard. It's really hard to say
Yeah, like
personally.
I feel like you really have to be into like the combat system. Like I feel like it's something like I guess the best comparison would be like something like Mortal Kombat. Like, cause when you think about it, Devil May Cry 5, all the Devil May Cry games, they're just like fighting games. They're like fighting games in in a different way. And there are those people that you see on YouTube that post like they post these videos of them doing like combos and different things in Devil May Cry, just like people do with like fighting games. They'll post combos and they'll post all these different things up on YouTube and stuff. Like I think it's more of like if you're really into if you really want to get into and like dive deep into the system of the game and really get good at every character. Like if you're one of those people that are like a full completionist and stuff, I think you'll like really enjoy this. But I do think that I feel like the value is there when it comes to just this game being worth the $60. Because when you look at the cutscenes, the cutscenes are well produced, man. The graphics look very good. Like everything about this game is polished. Nothing looks cheap. I think it's worth the $60, but I don't know if everyone would stick. Like I guess it just depends on the person. Like I would say like
Yeah.
if you know that you're one of those people that just like okay, as soon as I beat the story of a game, as soon as I beat the story of the game, I'm gonna go ahead and like trade it in to GameStop or whatever. I would say that you would probably want to wait with this or maybe just wait for like the price to drop because it is a game that you can beat within like I said within a few days. I mean, it's only like maybe a 10 to 12 hour story, maybe something like that. Like I said, this game is very. I feel like it's made to be replayed. It's made for replayability. It's made for you to go back through it and get better at the game and really dive deep into the characters' move sets and get better scores and find stuff that you didn't find in the level before. It's very old school. I would say it's very old school, or rather, very traditional style game, and it's something that I really feel like the industry really needs when it comes to the market rather the market really needs. When you look at the other games that are coming out, that are hack and slash games, that are this style of game. Um, I think we pretty much about covered everything. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that we can probably go over?
Um, got interrupted for a second. What do you say? Like, did I have anything to say about the? You said like this is what the industry needed right now, and
Oh no, no, no. I was saying
what else?
I was saying is there anything that you wanted to add? I think we kind of covered everything. If there's something else that
Um,
you
yeah, yeah. I kind of do want to add something to that. I did get the deluxe edition, and I'm probably am going to change like what I just said about being split in the middle, just for the cutscenes, how they made the cutscenes alone is like that was so much worth it. It wasn't just for the extra tracks you could battle tracks you can use to like put in the for fighting. You can even switch up like the character's themes and shit in the jukebox menu. But seeing what they did with the cutscenes and how they made them in a deluxe edition, I'm like, this was definitely worth the price of admission for me personally. Um, and like you said, like this is very old school. This is really what the industry needs right now. Yeah, yeah. Given how it's like either open world. I'm kind of getting to the point where it's like I'm kind of on open world fatigue at the moment, and it's like something has to be like Dark Souls related. I'm kind of getting sick of that. Like Dark Souls is not the epicenter of gaming, and then this comes around and it's like, what's up? Loved this game through and through. Um, the yeah, there's really nothing else I can add to that. It's like I absolutely love what they did to this, and I'm just gonna go out here and say it. Like for this game for 11 years, we waited for Kingdom Hearts 3 for 13 years. Just for all the people who are both fans of both of them. Now, anything about Kingdom Hearts 3 because everyone has pretty much said like it's a disappointment. So there's really nothing else I could say. But comparing this to that, Devil May Cry 5 was definitely worth the 11-year wait from 4 to now. This was definitely worth the waiting that we had to do, and even the DMC hurdle. God help me, I'm shaking from that. Um, yeah, yeah. This told a complete story. The characters knew what the fuck was going on. Everything looked so good. It ended. It could end with this story if they want to. If they don't want to make a Devil May Cry 6, if Itsuno says like this is it, like this is Endgame, he can easily do it. It ends on a perfect note.
Well, they said they already want to. They said that the sales aren't bad.
Oh, it might be the end for Dante's story anyway. But my point is this: if he wants to say like this is it, this is it. If we get a DMC 6, awesome. Either way, this was definitely worth the price of admission. This was definitely worth the wait, and this was definitely worth. This is the first banger for me personally this year. It wasn't Kingdom Hearts 3. It damn sure wasn't Travis Strikes Again. It was this game. I know I have yet to play Resident Evil 2 remake, but this currently right now is my first banger of this year, and I'm still going back through it again to get better. Get
Yeah,
it if you haven't.
yeah. I plan on going back through this also. I guess we can just give our scores now. For me, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10, just being realistic, I do think there are. I do think there is something that they need to kind of address. There is something I didn't mention earlier. Um, Now, when it comes to the input of the game, when it comes to the responsiveness of the controls, really, really good. Like, there's no complaints there. The game runs at 60 frames per second. The combat is smooth, is very flashy and stuff. The only little minor criticism I can say there is that when trying to, like, so the thing is, with this game, you have to hold the R1 button to lock on, right? You have to hold the R1 button to lock on, and there's certain moves
No,
that
wait. Yeah.
yeah, it's the R1 button that you have to use to lock on. And there's certain moves that for certain moves like you have to hold the left stick in a certain direction, then hold R1 to do that move. I feel like there are times where like the camera is positioned, the way that the camera is positioned, you can accidentally end up inputting the wrong move. Like you can end up doing that. I forgot the name of this. That move where Dante like he strikes the enemy forward. He like dashes forward and stuff. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The
I
stinger.
think it's, yeah, the stinger. That's what it's called. Like I'll accidentally do that when I really mean to like hit the enemy up into the air, and like that's the only my only complaint with this is how the lock on and how cause the lock on isn't necessarily bad or anything. I feel like they can kind of I feel like I wish that you could toggle the lock on and off. Like all you have to do, all you really should be able like I feel like you should just be able to like press R1 and then press it again to like toggle it off. Like I feel like they should have done that instead, or at least like have an option, and then like um just for like certain inputs with the moves. I don't know. Maybe it's me. It could just be an issue that I had, but that's like the only thing that I could really think of as a negative with this game. Because overall, I didn't really hate anything about this. I mean, there could be some people that say that there's some people that probably could want this game to be more open. But honestly, I like how linear the game is. I like how to the point it is. I like the scope of this game. Like they didn't like the developers didn't feel like it was necessary for the game to be like this 30-hour experience, or like these levels to be like too long. Like they don't really overstay their welcome. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10.
Okay. If I had to do like a normal rating, I'd probably just mirror the 9 out of 10. The reason is it's like I really feel like Trish and Lady didn't get enough centered on them, and they just got brushed off to the side. And like I said before, like Trish's only like reason to be here is the fact that she gives the Sparta back to Dante. That's really it. That's really all the reason she's here. And
Oh well, and V tells her about his past, about his origin or whatever. But yeah,
that was pretty much it. But other than that, it's like I I love the pacing. Like I said before, like I told you before, it's like comparing this to Kingdom Hearts 3, like I got enough out of this to keep coming back to it. Not to the point where it's like, I'm so sick of playing you. I want to be done. I want to get to the end and just stop. I want to. That's how Kingdom Hearts 3 was. And I wasn't even done. All right? I could put, like, just keep coming back to it if I wanted to and not get bored. Kingdom Hearts 3 definitely got bored of it. And it wasn't even at the boss. And I was like, okay, all right, this is really like in the boss like had like 8 fucking forms on him and shit. But yeah, other than the Lady Trish thing and the camera sometimes you like get hiccuping a bit, like this is this is almost perfect. This is almost perfect. Honestly, if they wanted to like put out DLC, other DLC besides like the Bloody Palace DLC, then go right ahead. Go right ahead, because like this is like I said before, this is like the first banger I had this year. I really don't have too much anything bad to say about it. And if I'm gonna use my after playing rating, buy it. Buy this. Go out and buy it. This isn't the middle ground. Wait till discount. This isn't a don't pick it up. This is a buy this shit now. Buy it now. 9 out of 10. Let's go. Hit the devil trigger music. Let's go. We're getting out of here. It's all there is to it. Go play it if you have it.
yeah, he basically yeah, you basically summed it up pretty nicely. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We're out of here. Peace.